Of course they got exposed. There is no question that they got exposed. What you saw was the ingredients to their demise. If you are able to run the football on the Dallas Cowboys, you can take them. Now, I, for one, in the interest of fairness and full disclosure, had no idea it would be this kind of beatdown, had no idea that the Dallas Cowboys offensive line was even capable of being dominated the way that they were dominated yesterday afternoon. But I'm going to give even more credit to the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line, who looked as if they were the Dallas Cowboys offensive line. The holes that they were plugging for LaShawn McCoy, Shady McCoy, who showed up and reminded the NFL that he, too, is still big time, that rushed for 159 yards on 25 carries. I'm going to give credit to that offensive line for facilitating the Philadelphia Eagles rushing for over 250 yards on the ground. Obviously, time of possession was even. I'm going to give a lot of credit to Mark Sanchez, who threw a touchdown pass, ran for another, threw for 217 yards, completed 20 of 29 passes, not a single turnover, just 2 Thanksgivings after committing the butt fumble in the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey, against the New England Patriots a couple of years ago when he was a member of the New York Jets. The Philadelphia Eagles offensive line, as far as I'm concerned, deserves a game ball just as much as LaShawn McCoy and more so than Mark Sanchez. Yes, Jordan Matthews caught a touchdown pass. Yes, Jeremy Maclin and McCoy and Sproles, all of those guys contributed to moving the chains. Can't say enough about Chip Kelly, who's 16-4 in his last 20 games since the middle of 2013 in the regular season, who's 7-2 against opponents in the NFC East. Got to give credit where credit is due. This man is doing a sensational job coaching the Philadelphia Eagles, and he deserves credit for it. The defense showed up, neutralized Tony Romo. First time in 38 tries. The man hasn't thrown a touchdown pass. We get that. Didn't pass for 200 yards. DeMarco Murray didn't rush for 100 yards. The Philadelphia Eagles thoroughly outplayed the Dallas Cowboys because that offensive line got exposed. Or I shouldn't say that. They just had a bad game. They had a bad game because they are legit. They just had a bad game. The defense for the Dallas Cowboys got exposed. The coaching for the Dallas Cowboys got exposed. Everything just fell apart. The Philadelphia Eagles showed that if you can match their might, if you can get to Tony Romo and make him throw in a phone booth, if you could sit there and thwart that offensive line, you can dictate a lot of things with this team, and as a result, you can beat the Dallas Cowboys. In the end, the Philadelphia Eagles were the superior team yesterday. They are atop the NFC East, and the only reason I say they exposed Dallas, in all seriousness, is because that offensive line has to play at an elite level. Otherwise, the Dallas Cowboys are just an average football team. That is what happened. That doesn't mean they can't win. Doesn't mean they're not making the playoffs. It just means that your offensive line is everything. All of this Tony Romo and DeMarco Murray stuff out the window. It's about the offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys, who got thoroughly outplayed by that front four, Graham and those boys yesterday. For the Fletcher Cox and Graham and Garden and those boys. They came to play, and they outshined Dallas's offensive line.
Are you finished?
Sure.
Sure? Okay,
Sure.
Prim, it's now my turn. Do I get the floor now after that
Absolutely.
8-minute soliloquy? Thank you.
Stop stalling. Get to your point.
I will readily admit I was shocked and I was sickened by what I witnessed for it seemed like it went on for 6 hours yesterday afternoon after my Thanksgiving dinner. But before I respond to all of Stephen A. Smith's cowboy-hating hyperbole, his bloviating, his premature celebrating, his ding-dong the witch is deading, let me just say this. Before I answer all that, I want to be very, very clear about something, Mr. Smith. I am not giving up on my Dallas Cowboys to win the NFC East. I am going to remind you, they are still 5-0 on the road, 5-0 away from Jerry World, where they are notoriously poorly prepared for game after game. That's 3 straight losses at home. The Philadelphia Eagles still have to face my Dallas Cowboys in Philadelphia, and the Eagles still have to face the Seattle Seahawks up next in Philadelphia, and they do have to go to the Giants and the Redskins to finish the year. So there's a whole lot of football to be played. But now, allow me to say, congratulations for now to Philadelphia, to its fans and to its football team, and especially to Mark Sanchez, who yesterday went from the Thanksgiving butt fumble to a Thanksgiving butt kicking. I am the first to agree to admit my Cowboys got their butts kicked in every possible way because the Philadelphia Eagles were extremely ready to play that football game, and my team was pathetically unready to play that football game. I knew it from the opening drive. Whoosh, the Eagles went 80 yards for a touchdown. What was it, 7 plays? And they could not stop the run because they look blindsided by Mark Sanchez, of all people, running the read option 21 times in that football game. So now in Washington, Robert Griffin didn't get to run the read option much more this year, but Mark Sanchez unveiled the read option 21 times after no times against Tennessee in their last win, and it looked like Dallas had had its Thanksgiving feast right before kickoff on defense. They looked slow, they looked sleepy, they looked unprepared, they looked caught off guard. They had no idea how to defend the read option run by Mark Sanchez, let alone his rollout after completion after completion. My hat is off to Mark Sanchez.